Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile character review, today featuring Dragon Breath Rai Cho. As usual guys, please note the date when this video has been recorded because a lot of things may have changed since then, and if you're not aware of the matrix I'm using in order to evaluate characters, you can find it on the top right corner of the screen. So without any further ado, let's put Dragon Breath Rai Cho to the test. Rai Cho guys was released with update 1.17 and he was originally available in the old store for the price of 478 souls. That's quite expensive, so we should be expecting some nice stats out of him. Let's start with the attack. It is 51,077, the 22nd highest in the game and the 6th highest among the gold characters. The hit points, they're 105,984, the 21st highest in MK Mobile and the 5th in the Gold League. The toughness is 43,417, the 19th highest overall and the 2nd highest in the Gold League, and the recovery is 37,800, the 27th highest in the game and the 12th highest among the gold characters. As you can see, he's almost everywhere in top 10 in the Gold League, and in the end the power generation is 100%. So for his stats, Rai Cho gets 18 points out of possible 28. Ignition, this is the name of Rai Cho Special 1, and in my opinion this is one of the best special ones when it comes to gold character guys. What you need to know about this ability is that first, it can be blocked by the opponent unfortunately. It has stun as debuff, which is incredible for special 1. It can be cast from distance without any issues. It is lethal, it consists of 2 mini hits, and it has the single multi-tap circle as minigame, which in my opinion is the best minigame in MK Mobile. It is extremely easy to score 100% on this minigame. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of Rai Cho Special 1 is 16,854, which is the 31st highest in the game and 12th highest in the Gold League. The maximum damage is 33,710, the 31st highest overall again and the 18th highest among the gold characters. And once again, let's repeat the properties of the ability. It can be blocked by the opponent unfortunately. It has stun as debuff. It can be cast from distance. It is lethal, it consists of 2 mini hits, and it has the single multi-tap circle as minigame. So for his special 1, Dragon Breath Rai Cho gets 9.9 out of 13 possible points. Special tool Rai Cho guys is called High Spirit. Like his special 1, the opponent can block completely the ability unfortunately, so be very careful if the enemy character is blocking. Also, it has Weaken as debuff, which is kind of okay. A lot of people are underestimating Weaken, but in my opinion it is a quite good debuff. Also, Special Tool Rai Cho can be cast from distance, even though the first mini hit will miss, but this is not big deal at all. The ability is lethal, it consists of 5 mini attacks, and it has the filler as minigame. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of Rai Cho Special 2 is 42,138, the 30th highest in MK Mobile and the 11th highest among the gold characters. The maximum damage is 67,421, the 52nd highest overall and the 27th highest in the Gold League. So let's repeat the properties of the ability once again. It can be blocked by the opponent. It has Weaken as debuff. It can be cast from distance, no issues there. It is lethal. It consists of 5 mini attacks and it has the filler as minigame. So for his special 2, Rai Cho gets 11 points out of 19 possible. I'm gonna be honest, the X-ray of Rai Cho is gross. However, there's one thing very important about it, and it is the fact that you cannot really cast it from distance unfortunately. If you do cast it from distance, Rai Cho will just puke on the opponent and then he will do nothing. So just a puke, no damage. Also, another important thing about his X-ray is that it has Cripple as debuff, which is amazing because as you know, the Cripple will be applied to the entire enemy team. When it comes to damage, the damage of Rai Cho X-ray is 102,818, the 5th highest overall, and that's 12th highest in the Gold League. Once again, the ability has Cripple as debuff, and it cannot be cast from distance, you have to be close to the opponent. So for his X-Ray, Rai Cho gets just 1.7 out of 4 possible, and the total score for his basic attacks adds up to 22.6 out of 36 possible points. Okay, we got to Rai Cho's main weakness, and that's his basic attacks. Quite honestly, they're quite slow, I would say they're clumsy. And also he has bad chaining, he doesn't push opponents back after the end of the basic attack combination, so if they're blocking you're kind of screwed. However, I can say that he has good combo enders, because every time when you perform combo ender you feel safe in a way that the combo ender gives you time to prepare and launch another set of basic attacks so that you can keep chaining them over and over again. However, if you don't get to have combo ender in the end of your basic attacks, again you are vulnerable for counter attack. So in a way, especially after update 2.2, Dragon Bread Rai Cho requires some block breaker equipment, even though that this is not compulsory, because the fact that he deals tons of damage with his special attacks due to his passive compensate for his bad basic attacks. What I'm talking about is that sometimes just holding block and waiting for the opponent to become vulnerable for counter attack is the best solution you have if you don't have block breaker equipment on Rai Cho. Let's say for example you have Rat Hammer or his weapon. In that case, all you have to do is just keep blocking, hoping that the opponent won't have block breaker, and when the time comes you can counter attack and deal ton of damage using his special one or even his special 2. So in general, Dragon Bread Rai Cho doesn't have good basic attacks, and that's unfortunate. So I'll be giving him 2.5 for speed and 3 points for chaining, for a total of 5.5 out of 10 possible points. Double Vision, this is the name of the passive of Dragon Bread Rai Cho. Basically what it does is that combo enders and critical hits have 50% chance to inflict additional damage on one of the tagged out opponents, and the second part of his passive is that he gives 25% critical hit chance for all martial artists on the team, that would be including him. So, the passive of Rai Cho, guys, is one of the better passives in the game, no doubt about it. It really feels awesome, especially if you use Shansung Stone on Rai Cho. Once you give this item to this guy, his passive feels really awesome. In a nutshell, basically, once you finish off one of the opponents, the other two opponents will tag in at approximately 30 to 40% health, sometimes even less. I had cases when I finished one of the opponents and the other two tagged in at about 10 to 15% health, which is incredible, by the way. This passive very much looks like the passives of Heavy Weapon Jacks and Kobujutsu Tane. It's not the same like them, but it still uses the same idea of dealing damage to the opponents who are tagged out. Also, Injustice 2 Raiden has similar passive. However, in the case of Dragon Bread Rai Cho, it works, I would say, as good as Heavy Weapon Jacks, because unlike Heavy Weapon Jacks, Dragon Bread Rai Cho has really high stats. So it is a really useful passive, guys. I really like Rai Cho, considering that he is supposed to be a troll character. I would say that his passive works really beautiful. When it comes to the disadvantages of his passive, first, it deals damage only to one character. If the passive was dealing damage to the entire tagged out team, in other words, if the passive was dealing damage to all characters who are currently tagged out, it would have been amazing, really. Currently it is very good, but it has this simple issue that is, I would say, stopping it from becoming amazing. And the second drawback of the passive is that if the opponent has Bloody Shokan armor, the passive doesn't really work, unfortunately, because it greatly reduces your critical hit chance. However, despite of the drawbacks of this passive, I really regard it as a very good. So I'll be giving 17 points for Rai Cho's passive. Once again, it is very useful, quite fun. The only drawback is first that it can deal damage only to one character, unfortunately, and second, if the opponent has a lot of critical hit chance reduction, the passive doesn't really work. Of course, a 25% critical hit chance increase is always beneficial. So once again, 17 points for Rai Cho's passive. This character is just martial artist, so he gets 1 point for classes and 2 points for tagging attack, because quite honestly, his tagging attack is one of the funniest in the game, and on top of that it deals very good damage, especially if Rai Cho is equipped with Rat Hammer. Dragon Bread Rai Cho, guys. Wow. Quite honestly, I am very grateful that I have the opportunity to create those reviews, because quite frankly, the last game I had with Rai Cho was quite a long time ago, and I actually forgot how fun to play he is. He has very good stats for a gold character, very nice special one, in my opinion one of the most underrated special ones in the game, especially for gold characters. He has great and fun passive which compensates for his terrible basic attacks actually. And last but not least, his throw appearance and throw victory stances are a lot of fun, trust me guys. And of course I forgot to mention that he has one of the best tagging attacks in the game, definitely the funniest. So I decided to give him 2 out of my 3 entirely subjective points. He is a great throw character who is very useful and in general very fun to play. So, with my 2 subjective points, Rai Cho scored 68.1, and we can definitely label him as a good character. He was actually just 2 points away from 70 points, and you know, all characters between 70 and 80 points are labeled as great characters, but unfortunately Rai Cho came short 2 points, mainly because actually he cannot cast his X-ray from distance, and that's very unfortunate, but it is what it is guys. Final verdict, good character. Okay guys, we got to the gameplay. Now, Rai Cho can do okay as opener, however I don't recommend you putting him on the first spot, even though actually his item can cripple the active enemy at the start of the game. Reason being, he doesn't have any defensive mechanisms, any defensive abilities, and his special one is not unblockable. Also, most of the openers tend to have Bloody Shotgun armor, and as you know, Rai Cho is pretty bad against any character who is equipped with Bloody Shotgun armor. That being said, let's proceed to the good and bad matchups for Rai Cho. When it comes to the easy matchups, it's really hard to tell because Rai Cho's passive is pretty neutral and he can be basically good against anybody. However, when it comes to bad matchups, I can easily list some names. First, I'll start with Assassin Jade, MK11 Jade, Relentless Jason. Of course, when they attacked in and actually are facing Rai Cho, reason being they can dodge his basic or special attacks, and in order for him to be useful in the battle he needs to land his basic and special attacks. Also, Ravenous Melina is a very hard matchup because she can tag in stun Rai Cho and just kill him, and the other 3 characters, pretty dangerous opponents: Punk Cassie, Triborg Sub-Zero and MK11 Sub-Zero, reason being they can all slow down Rai Cho or even power drain him on tag in, and quite frankly Rai Cho doesn't like that at all. And of course his biggest counter in the game, Elder God Kenshi, reason being he is immune to critical hits, and by the way not only him but every single Elder God which is teamed with Elder God Kenshi. Really horrible matchup for Rai Cho. The item that counters Rai Cho, we already mentioned it multiple times, it is Bloody Shotgun armor. It completely destroys the purpose of Rai Cho's passive. Okay guys, we got to the items. If you're planning of using Rai Cho as an opener, then I would suggest you equip him with Rai Cho Flask or Devastator, whichever you have on higher fusion. As an armor you can give him Shao Kahn's helmet, and as an accessory Cinder's Ring or Blaze's Life Force. Again, if you have both, go for Cinder's Ring. It is extremely important, especially now when every second game you are facing Dark Emperor Lucane. When it comes to items that you need to equip him with, if he's not the opener, then give him Rai Cho Flask, or Rathammer or Sand to Blade, whichever you have at higher fusion, and it all basically depends on your playstyle. If you cannot really play Rai Cho without Block Breaker, then definitely go for Sand to Blade. As an armor, again Shao Kahn's helmet and Shang Tsung's stone as an accessory. Very pivotal item for Rai Cho, because this item works pretty lovely with his passive. And by the way, that's another reason why I don't like using Rai Cho as an opener, because I really don't want to give him Shang Tsung's stone when he is the opener of my team. And finally guys, we got to the teams. So many teams you can build using Rai Cho, as long as a team consists of martial artists. For example, you can use classic Liu Kang, you can use Hellspawn Scorpion to do some great X-ray teams. However, in my opinion, the best team for Rai Cho should be Rai Cho, Hattrick Kung Lao and Cyrax. Because in this team Rai Cho deals tons of damage with his critical hits, and by the way, this is what you need in order for his passive to work. And believe me, in this team Rai Cho really shines. By the way, now you can see a lot of combinations. For example, it doesn't need to be Cyrax and Hattrick Kung Lao. It can be, for example, Cyrax and Nunjutsu Scorpion, or Cyrax and Hanzo Hasashi, if you really don't like 2+1 teams and you prefer to have 2 strong characters in your team, then this will be also very nice team. In general, Rai Cho is a pretty fun character. By the way, if you're not aware, Rai Cho comes from Spanish borracho, which means drunk, so now you know. Unfortunately, there is no other troll character currently in MK Mobile. Probably when the Joker arrives, you could possibly do something with the Joker and Rai Cho in one team, so that you can build the so-called troll team. Okay guys, Rai Cho, what do you think about him? Do you like him? Do you dislike him? Please let me know in the comments. He scored 68.1 on our scale and we labeled him as a good character. As usual guys, if you want to see more reviews, you can find the playlist on the top right corner of the screen. See you next time guys. Take care.
Too much rice wine.
Well done.
Perfect.